Hey, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about 5 mindset habits that can create a lot more wealth and ease in your life. So, I'm Cappi Pidwell. I'm a master of NLP and hypnotherapy, and I'm excited to share these 5 daily, really mindset habits that will help you increase your income and your outcomes pretty rapidly. So, most people have a relationship to money, and they were taught certain things from an early age on, usually from the authority figures or the parents or grandparents or whoever was teaching you about money. And so you get these money beliefs, these money patterns, and they're very old and they're stored in the subconscious mind. So it's almost like bricks, right? Over years and years and years of hearing the same pattern, beliefs that were built from your parents' experience, family experience, and those types of things, those bricks, if you will, get built in our mind, and those becomes our money beliefs, our money patterns, our habits, our money thinking. And remember, your money mindset is on 24/7. It's on when you go into the grocery store. It's on when you go to purchase something. Do you walk into the store and look for the highest end item or the lowest or the medium? You have a money mindset. Okay, so wherever it is, that's just where it is. So we're gonna create these 5 steps. I'm gonna share some thoughts with you, because you see, most people think making more money just requires them working harder or getting a new job or having a strategy. But what they don't realize is they already have a money blueprint, if you will, a money mindset that they're operating from. So they go to a different place or a different job or create a different, goal or intention or whatever, but they're not changing the blueprint. They're not looking at or exploring that internal money pattern, those, layers typically, bricks of beliefs, if you will, that came with you growing up and having a money mindset today. So I've done a lot of different videos on this, as your mindset, one of lack and poverty, consciousness with money, is it one of abundance and lavish with money? So we're not going to do that today. We're going to talk about 5 habits, because the truth is money follows your money imprint, your money mindset. That's that's just the bottom line. What you repeat, what you think, how you feel, how you act and react with money. Do you hoard it? Do you hold it? Do you, just toss it and spend it and overspend and over debt? I mean, there's just so many things that you can be looking at. But let's talk about 5 new money mindset habits that can completely change your outcomes, okay? All right. So wealth isn't random. It really is about your money beliefs, feelings, and emotions. Okay. So let's look at how this creates your daily reality. I kind of just softly mentioned it, but let's say you're wanting to get a different outcome and you find a solution online, offline, maybe at an event, in a book, wherever you find it. Most people are finding solutions online today, and you want something, and yet you don't make a decision on it. So you look at it, you ponder, you stay on the fence, and then you don't decide. Okay. I'm going to ask you to look at how long does it take you to get off the fence? Because here's what I'll tell you. I think a good no is better than a fence sitter for 6 months. Right? I'd much rather have somebody get off the fence and decide not to get something or not to do something than to stay stuck on a fence. Because on the fence, you could sit and look and observe and judge all day long, but you're probably not getting a new outcome. So this really does create your money reality. Okay. So, number one, you have to understand your money mindset. Is it programmed to wealth, success, or lack, poverty, stress, whatever? So, this is number one, right? Because when you start to understand that money is part of your internal experience, you'll realize that you can actually manifest much more of it. Okay. So, I want you in this tip number one to start thinking like a problem solver. Okay. Money flows to people who solve problems. If you focus on the value instead of the fear of not having any money, I don't have the money, I need money, I'm striving for money, you got to flip that switch inside and start to think about what problem do you solve for people? And then you attach money to that, right? So when people work with me, they invest their time and their money with me, and then they make more money as a result. And I'm going to hop in a few minutes to some really powerful questions that successful people ask themselves versus the average thinker. So that comes in tip number 3. So stay tuned because it's really good. So you want to ask yourself in this part, who can I help? What problem do I solve? And how do I add value to somebody today? It could be as simple as going to the grocery store and smiling at somebody or picking something off the floor if they drop it or whatever. These little behaviors that you come from an energy of giving and, more a prosperous feeling to be a contribution to people, you would be surprised, right? It's really important that you understand your energy as a direct reflection of the opportunities. You just never know whose apple fell and who you're picking it up for. I have a lot of stories around this, but it's those daily little things that you can do to impact and make a difference in someone's life. Okay. Number 2, I'm going to give you the second mindset habit to get into. Stop feeling broke and believing there's not enough money. I am telling you, it just goes on and on and on for people, that they don't have the money or, I can't make the money, I can't get a job, whatever. Stop the feeling of feeling that there's not enough. And I will tell you, that feeling of not enough money is very related to an inner game for you or for anyone who's listening to this that can relate to this. It's an inner feeling of not feeling good enough. So I call this the enoughness factor. There's not enough money, there's not enough time. I don't feel good enough. I don't have enough experience. You could put the enoughness word, pile it on top of stuff, but this is very common in people's relationship to money that they don't think there's enough. I have a really good exercise in tip number 2 here. When you drive by a bank or walk by a bank and they're all over the place, I want you to imagine from now on all the money that's being electronically transferred through that bank all day, every day, like a lot. So every time I go by a bank, I just get in that frequency of that movement of money, that momentum of millions moving and traveling and, people buying houses and investing and putting money into the bank and taking money out of the bank. Money is a momentum. It's a constant flow. And so when you get in the frequency of the flow of money versus there's not enough money, that's a heavy duty burden to carry around. Okay. So that's a really powerful energy to practice. I think a lot of people also, in this belief, they stay really busy doing busy work, but they're not doing money making activities. And again, this goes a lot with the I don't have enough. So I don't know if you've ever met someone that just stays super busy. It's almost like they're so busy to avoid what's really going on with them so they can look busy. But then at the end of the day, they haven't accomplished anything. And that's a really important thing to pay attention to. So tip number 2 is just delete the feeling and the belief of that there is not enough money because there is a ton. Okay. So now we're going to get to tip number 3. Tip number 3 is you need to upgrade your money identity. Okay. This is really important, you guys. Your self image determines your earning capacity, your earning level, if you will. So if somebody says, thinks, believes, and feels, oh, I struggle with money, money's hard to make, whatever, I guarantee that is what is automatically driving their behavior because that's how your subconscious mind works. So if you start imagining yourself as more successful, if you close your eyes and see your perfect inner image of yourself as more successful, dressed the way you want to dress, talking the way you want to talk, driving the car you want to be in, you have to use your imagination because you've been living in your identity for years. And I promise these programs, these money programs are thick, they're old. They've been there a long time. And you have to begin to assume yourself as somebody who can attract money, somebody who can manage money, somebody who can move money, somebody who can be in a different relationship with money. Remember, you have a relationship with money. And like any relationship, you have to invest your time and energy into making it better. Okay. I have a program on my website. I created it in 2008. It's really old. Gosh, it's almost 20 years old. That's crazy. Um, it's called Mental Money Mastery, and it's all on subconscious. I get into your current relationship to money, your past programming, and then in week 3, your future pacing with money. And it's a very powerful process. I've had so many people do it, and it has created miraculous results and outcomes for people. You could check that out on my website. I'll put the link below. But Mental Money Mastery, I started interviewing all these people who made a lot of money, and the difference between their thoughts and their feelings and their beliefs about money were fascinating. And so I really started exploring and helping people identify these patterns and these imprints and blueprints with money. And so one of the things I learned for myself, I was raised in lack, just so you know, I'm fifth of 6 kids. I moved lots of times when I was little. Always heard we didn't have the money. So when we have those programs and those beliefs and you grow up thinking, "Oh, that's the way it is. That's the way the world is." Meh. No, I was taught wrong, right? So I had to reteach myself how to believe different and assume myself successful. And that takes work. I mean, it's probably why I became a hypnotherapist. It really changed my identity, if you will, and my beliefs about myself. And then, of course, about the world and money and success and everything else that follows when you change your inner identity. So you want to assume that you can be successful. Like, if you give yourself permission to have success, what would that feel like instead of feeling broke or struggling or stressed? Okay. So that is a really powerful money habit to get into is just assume yourself wealthy, assume yourself successful, assume yourself smart. Okay. You earn your earnings, your income is always in alignment with who you believe you are. So powerful, you guys. So powerful. All right. Oh, I wanna read those, questions that successful people ask. This is so good. I was speaking at an event a few weeks ago, and I put these up on the screen, so I'm gonna grab them here. Alright, so successful people ask themselves different questions, and this creates different outcomes and certainly more income. So the average thinker this is around money, magnetizing money, okay? The average thinker's question says, "How much does this cost?" Okay, which of course we all ask that. Everybody wants to know, right? But a successful or millionaire mindset would ask, how much is this investment going to make me? I want you to hear the difference there. So, how much does it cost comes from a lot of like fear, uncertainty, versus how much will this investment return me? Right? That's how they think. It's pretty cool. The average thinker on the second one here, it says, what if it doesn't work? A successful person would say, how do I leverage the opportunity to make this work for me? And I really liked these questions and just to show people the differences of your automatic responses, your automatic thinking. Okay. Question number 3. The average thinker says, I'll do it when I feel ready or when I have the money. I hear that a lot at my speaking events, right? A successful person thinks, I'm ready to make a move now to get new outcomes and more income, right? I'll get the money and they make a decision. They find the money. And I always tell people, if you had an emergency and God forbid something happened or your car broke down or something, you'd find the money. But I find it interesting that people, when it comes to themselves, they have so much hesitation of wanting to invest in themselves when it is the best investment you'll ever make because the outcome prospers you for the rest of your life. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic. Okay, the next average thinker question is just says, "I just don't have the time. I'm so busy being busy," like I mentioned. And then a successful person says, "What matters the most to me right now? I'll make the time to get new incomes for myself or outcomes for myself." Excuse me. So I really liked that habit, right? Of thinking different. Okay, so number 4, habit number 4, make decisions from your future self. So, what does that look like? So, a lot of times people are just thinking short term in their money mindset versus long term success, right? They're thinking, again, like I just said, how much is it going to cost me? I'm going to suffer, I'm going to struggle because they're so familiar with that frequency. So if you expand and think, how much is this going to make me? What if I could, tenfold my income or fivefold, whatever it is for you, right? Um, That's more of a long-term decision for yourself, right? What's it gonna look like for me in 6 months or a year when I don't have that struggle and that stress and those thoughts and those beliefs, like, it's priceless, let me tell you. I know 'cause I do it for a lot of people, and I did it for myself. So, what would your future self do? You could say to yourself, if you're making a decision instead of staying stuck on that fence, like I talked about a few minutes ago, what would my successful self do right now? Okay. How would you think, react, and act in making this decision? Maybe you say, I'm going to give myself 24 hours to make a decision and make the decision, whatever way it is. Because when you keep the stuff back, it's almost like going into a garage and you open it up and it's packed with boxes. Half the stuff in there is probably trash now, but you kept it for a reason. That's how I think of the subconscious. You got to empty, you got to purge, you got to get rid of old beliefs that don't serve you anymore. So if you ask yourself, what would my successful self do? It probably doesn't have all those lackful beliefs anymore, right? So that's a really good thing. The second thing on this tip is stop saying, I don't have the money. Say something like, more is coming to me today. I'm open to receive more opportunities today. And you're going to have to catch yourself doing this. Okay. So if you think or say, you might not even say it out loud, but if you say it to yourself, "Oh, I just don't have the money. I don't have the money right now. I don't have any money." All those money things of not enoughness. Say something different like, I'm open to receiving more today. Right? More's coming to me today. Opportunities are everywhere. Like I said, drive by the bank. That's always a great one. And take more calculated money making opportunities. If it's something that's going to make you more money, there's no guarantee on anything. But if your gut is saying, I need this, that's something you should move into. I have a client who is very, very wealthy and he makes a lot of investments. I coach him. He'll call me before he makes an investment. We kind of go through his beliefs about it, what he's feeling, what intuitively he's knowing. If he's like, happy, the numbers are there, but it's just feeling, or the guy was, I'm like, you already know the answer, right? And he's made a lot more money since he's been working with me because he's learning to really trust those instincts and those inner drivers. Now, can I say every single investment's always right? No, but he's probably saved more money by not making bad investments, if that makes sense. So it's really important that you're willing to do things that are going to get you the return like the successful people think. Yeah. So your future, I want you to get this, your future is built on the decisions and beliefs and thoughts and emotions that you make today, that you have today, and that you hold today. So everything you have today produces your tomorrow. So if you believe in yourself and that success is easy and that you can have more money and that things are easier, that will transfer into tomorrow. So again, it's like building these new bricks, these new beliefs of your success, building a new relationship to money, knowing there's more than enough. Practicing going by those banks and seeing and feeling money, energy, and frequency all around you. It's extremely powerful, you guys. So, you always have to be in alignment with the things you wanna create, because if you're not in alignment, you knowing you're the creator and you're saying money's hard and I don't have the money and all that, you keep creating that outcome, okay? So, here's my fifth and last tip for today. If you're getting pleasure and joy out of these videos, please go ahead and comment, like, subscribe to my channel, and ask me a question if you have any money questions. I love talking about this topic. So mindset, money making habit number 5 is consistency over motivation. Motivation kind of comes and goes. There's days you're more motivated than others. But I tell people make the small daily decisions that are going to get you long term results. For instance, excuse me, because I coach a lot of sales professionals, sometimes they're like, oh, I'm going to make 50 calls a day. And I'm like, okay, how long of a duration do you think most people are going to be consistent at that? I can tell you it's usually not a long time. So I think it would be much smarter to make, I'm just using this as an example. But what if you made 10 calls on Friday every single week? Friday was your call day. Everyone's in a good mood on Friday. You leave great voice messages, whatever. Again, I'm totally using this as an example, but that is more doable. And that consistency over time is going to make you more money, probably get you more appointments, get you more outcomes versus, the old philosophy of making 100 calls a day. So if somebody's going to go dive into that behavior and they hate making calls in the first place, 100 is going to feel really hard. So I always say, do things that are going to be consistent and more enjoyable for you than trying to do the difficult, stressful things, because I don't think those make you a lot of money. Okay, so here's some habits in 5 that I want you to understand are hurting you. So I talked about one of them earlier. Um, Avoiding your finances, avoiding looking at your accounts, avoiding looking at your debt, your bank account, they're all numbers. But I call this money avoidance, and I talk about it in Mental Money Mastery. I have people get online every single day, look at their bank, I don't care how much is in it, and just pour appreciation on it, pour gratitude on it. It could be making your car payment, it could be making your mortgage, it could be whatever, it could be growing, it could be flowing, you could put it into something that makes you a lot more. How are you looking at your bank account? Are you avoiding it and not even looking at it? I'm telling you guys, this establishes such a different relationship with your money when you look at it with gratitude, with appreciation, with the energy of growth and goodness, and just an allowing of it to be more abundant and flow to and through you more effortlessly. Because money's in a bank account, a lot of it goes out, it goes to things, right? But then more comes in. It's just a cycle, it's a momentum. Okay. Um, and then another one is really important, important habit that this is a money habit though that can hurt you. Again, I mentioned it earlier, but negative self-talk about money. There's not enough money, talking to other people about lack. Stop those conversations. If they're still in your head, that's one thing. Don't go talk to people and be like, I don't have any money. Oh, I wish I had the money. That is just such, you're broadcasting that out into the universe and it's not serving your success. Okay. And then, of course, comparing yourself to people who are more successful than you, that's hurting your own level of certainty with money. This is a relationship that takes time to enrich. If you already have a rich money relationship, I think that's beautiful. It took me years to really be in such luxury and lavish with this relationship, but it's a really, really important one, you guys. So, and then, of course, be in great gratitude every day for the money that comes to you, for the money that goes out from you, the money that moves through you, the money in your wallet, in your bank account, in your investments, in your portfolio, in your home, wherever. Just be so grateful. That is probably the one of the most important pieces to all these 5 tips. But those are my 5 tips to really be in a new relationship with your money. And for many people that weren't taught good money beliefs, if you want to upgrade your money mindset, I have a few options for you. I have a program on my website called Rewire Your Money Mindset. I also have that program, Mental Money Mastery. It's phenomenal. It's 3 weeks, 3 subconscious sessions, a workbook, bunch of audios and videos with me. It's my most extensive online money program. You can check that out. I'll put my website in the link below. It's cappipidwell.com. And then for those of you that want to coach with me and really increase your sales, your success, your mindset, I do have programs on my website as well. It's just book a call. So I put the link below. You can book a call with me if you're ready for fast results and live coaching with Cappi. I do not source the coaching out. I do it all. So if you're ready for those kinds of results, go ahead and book a call. And if you have any questions, please leave me a comment on here. I'm growing my YouTube channel. I appreciate your input, your feedback, and your questions. So I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much.